You know you're gonna see the best of the worst with the shit flick critic. You know you're gonna see shit that's absurd with the shit flick critic. From Pandemic, The Room, Samurai Cop, Troll 2, Man of Sense of Fate, Miami Connection 2. So come along, see the worst with me. I'm the shit flick critic.
G'day everyone and welcome to the Shit Flick Critic. I'm your host, Andrew Lewis. A couple years ago, every Saturday night I would go over to my sister's house and we would have a drink and watch a terrible film. After having seen movies like The Room or Birdemic, I really didn't think there could be anything as bad as those two. But after a bit of searching online, that's when I found Troll 2.
He's still seeing Grandpa Seth.
You're getting yourselves into big trouble.
This is their kingdom!
Don't let them eat, Joshua. For the love of God, don't let them eat.
Oh my God!
Troll 2 was produced in the summer of 1989 by Italian movie-making powerhouse couple Claudio Fragasso and Rosella Drudi.
And I bet you're thinking, Troll 2. I guess we're going to see some trolls then, yeah? No.
Goblins.
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 Goblin.
Goblins.
Even though the film is called Troll 2, it has no connection to the first Troll movie and is inhabited by goblins exclusively. The original title of the movie was Goblin, but it was changed to Troll 2 in the hopes of making more money to an American audience. The original storyline was supposed to be about vampires, but when Rosella Drudi was writing the script, a number of her friends became vegetarians, which pissed her off for some reason. So, as a take that to her friends, she turned the antagonists into vegetarian goblins to criticize their life choice.
And boy did she show them, she'd be like, hey guys, you know how you're all vegetarians? Well, so are the goblins in the fictional script I just wrote. And they turn people into plants before they eat them. Who's stupid now?
What doesn't make sense is that people become vegetarians more often than not because they're against the killing of living creatures. But these goblins still kill the things they're eating, they just turn them into plants beforehand, completely depriving the ethical point. It seems that the goblins are either incapable of eating meat or find it repulsive, which would make them more herbivores than vegetarians.
And why do they even need to turn people into plants? Can't they just grow their own vegetables? They're surrounded by farms for fuck's sake.
Troll 2 was produced by Joe D'Amato, an Italian exploitation director known for producing films of exceptionally low production quality in order to make a higher profit.
And there's Joe D'Amato there, having a wank.
And Troll 2 was no different, as very little money was spent on its production. Like the goblin costumes, created by Italian erotic actress Laura Gemser, was simply made up of a burlap sack with some cheap rubber masks and gloves. In keeping with low cost, the score for the film, composed by Carlo Maria Cordio, was recorded on a synthesizer only, and consists of only a handful of songs that are either repeated or tweaked slightly. My favourite Carlo song is the one he composed for the hardcore Korn scene, that sounds suspiciously like a certain Joe Cocker song. Please don't take your hat off.
Troll 2 is not as much bad as it is weird, partially due to the strange story and even stranger dialogue, most of which revolves around food.
There's sandwiches for tonight in here. It will go easier if you eat them.
There's no coffee here in Nilbog. It's the devil's drink.
A double-decker bologna sandwich!
The odd dialogue for the movie is obviously due to Claudio and Rosella's poor English and ignorance to American culture. The actors for the film has said that each time they were given a scene, they all had to sit together and decipher what it all actually meant. Some of the cast members even offered to say the lines how they interpreted them, but Claudio demanded that they deliver the lines as written.
If my father discovers you here, he'd cut off your little nuts and eat them. He can't stand you.
So here, for lack of a better word, is the plot as best as I can describe it. The Waits family go on a vacation to the small town of Nilbog, totally not goblin spelled backwards, which is a town where the residents are vegetarian goblins from Stonehenge. The goblins, in disguise as normal townfolk, feed people green food in order to turn them into half-human, half-plant creatures that they can then digest. The only person that can stop them is a young boy who, with the magical help of his dead grandpa Seth, only he can communicate with, endeavours to thwart the goblins' plans by utilising his grandpa's supernatural abilities. It's never made clear how Joshua can communicate with his grandpa, or the nature of his death. But what's even more bizarre is the seemingly endless powers his grandpa possesses. He can stop time, spawn weapons, summon thunder, possess hitchhikers,
What are you doing, Joshua?
So how about it? Are you gonna give me a ride or not?
It kind of makes you wonder why he can't just kill all the goblins on his own instead of putting his grandson's life in danger.
A scene which beautifully demonstrates Grandpa Seth's lack of regard for Joshua's safety is the Molotov cocktail scene.
Joshua's family is trapped downstairs with the Nilbog townsfolk, while upstairs, Grandpa Seth hatches a plan to distract them with a fire caused by a Molotov cocktail.
We'll go around the house. When the time comes, you light the wick and throw the bottle. I'll create some confusion with this.
So basically, what he just said was, okay, Joshua, even though I'm already dead and no possible harm can come to me, I'll take this harmless, easy-to-use fire extinguisher while you, an 8-year-old boy, take this extremely volatile and highly dangerous makeshift incendiary device to be used without my supervision. Nice one, Grandpa Seth.
My other favourite GS moment is despite all of his unworldly powers, he still picks the wrong mirror when trying to communicate with Josh.
Joshua! What happened?
You were in the wrong room.
I still have to learn the layout of this house.
A secondary plot in Troll 2 is about Joshua's sister Holly and her boyfriend Elliot, who she refuses to see steadily due to his attachment with his 3 best friends.
What's wrong with having friends?
Nothing, if you want to remain a virgin for life.
Her mum and dad won't even accept him into the family unless he ditches his friends first, which is strange because they seem like nice guys. Sure, one of them tackles and forces himself on a clearly distressed girl running through a forest, then offers to show her his penis.
You're human?
Want to see?
But other than that, they're okay.
It seems like the moral they're trying to push in the story is, if you really want to go out with a girl, the best thing to do is abandon everyone in your life. Especially your friends, and especially if their parents say so.
We need to have a serious talk. If you want to have a serious talk, you'll have to forget about your friends and come to our house. Otherwise, you forget about Holly.
And I don't know why Holly's so jealous. I mean, it's not as though they sleep together and...
Elliot's friends were obviously introduced to the plot in order to have characters that weren't part of the family killed off, but we really don't get to see what happens to any of them. The first friend's death is off-screen, the fate of the second friend is never revealed, and the third friend is turned into popcorn, maybe?
No more popcorn.
The plot wouldn't advance at all in Troll 2 if characters didn't constantly do stupid things or go places they shouldn't. Like...
Oh, thank God we escaped from those awful goblins. Quick, let's hide inside this creepy old church. Oh, and obviously creepy witch lady's in here. Should we get her to call the police? Nah, let's drink whatever concoction she gives us. Or, geez, I'm really not feeling well after eating that green sandwich the creepy sheriff gave me, or drinking the milk the even creepier store owner gave me. Better wander into this creepy old church for no reason. Oh shit, my friend's in here. Should I go get help? Nah, I'll just slowly drag him out. Or even still, I just worked out that Nilbog is the kingdom of the goblins, despite the fact my grandpa told me the night before.
It is the kingdom of the goblins.
Should I tell my dad? Nah, he's sleeping. I'll just wander around town aimlessly. Oh look, a sermon. I'll sneak up into the attic and have a look. What's the worst that can happen? It's also a pretty big fucking coincidence that the morning after Grandpa Seth read Joshua's story about goblins, they just so happened to go to a town infested with them.
And you could say, well, maybe Grandpa Seth knew and he was reading the story to prepare Joshua. Well, maybe so, but then why does he look genuinely confused at their arrival in Nilbog?
What are you doing here, Grandpa?
What are all of you doing here?
Although the storyline is part of what makes Troll 2 so terrible, it's the long list of actors, all with their own unique characteristics that make it such a memorable film. Like Joshua and that face he makes whenever he's in peril. The dad and his thick Alabama accent.
When I was a kid, I had an imaginary playmate too. Microwave and video, all the other appliances.
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
You've got the mum and her wide blue eyes.
Oh, Michael!
What?
Look what a surprise they have prepared for us!
Alright, I'm looking, calm down. What? Fair enough.
The overall acting in the film is pretty terrible, but the incredible thing is that only a few of the cast members had any acting experience. The rest were made up of people who thought they were going to be extras but were giving leading roles instead. George Hardy was a dentist working in Salt Lake City with no acting experience who showed up at the auditions for a bit of fun, but was instead given one of the film's biggest roles with the most dialogue.
No problem. Josh and I run in town to the general store, right, Josh?
Sure, Dad.
The actor who plays the creepy store owner was actually a patient at a nearby mental hospital who was allowed out on a day pass, and said that his disturbing performance was just him acting naturally.
We're vegetarians here in Nilbog. Didn't you know that?
There are even a few scenes in the movie where he looks genuinely confused, and you can see he has no idea what is taking place around him. The most bizarre character of the entire film is Credence Eleanor Gielgud,
who speaks in a manner that takes her a very long time to say things.
I am Credence Leonor Gielgud of ancient Druid origins. I thought you might enjoy one of my ancient recipes.
It kind of makes you wonder the reason why they didn't just hire an old lady to play Credence instead of giving this actress horrible makeup, other than to just make her look younger later in the film.
Before I finish, I'd like to talk about one of my favourite scenes in the film, and that's the hospitality scene.
The Waits family is just about to bog into some delicious green tucker that their exchange family has left for them when Grandpa Seth appears and gives Joshua 30 seconds to think of a way to prevent them from eating. So, after about a minute of Joshua walking around the table, he finally decides that the best course of action is to piss all over the food.
I must do it!
Originally in the script, Josh was supposed to start jumping on the table screaming that he was possessed, but on the day of shooting, Claudio said, possessed. That bullshit. Boring. You stand up, you piss on table. Don't worry. You jump on table, you unzip zipper, we cut, piss on table. The family is understandably very upset with Joshua after the incident. So upset, in fact, that they completely failed to notice Joshua magically disappearing from the window, then reappearing pissing all over their food. No family member is more upset than the dad.
Do you see this writing? Do you know what it means? Hospitality. And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it!
And neither will the laws of physics!
What are you going to do to me, Daddy?
And now it's time to play Guess What Happens Next? Does Joshua's dad A. take off his belt and whip Joshua, B. piss on Joshua for spoiling dinner, or C. tighten his belt by one loop so he doesn't feel hunger pains? The answer is...
tighten my belt by one loop so I don't feel hunger pains. And your sister and mother will have to do likewise. Okay, Joshua, you want to get rough with me? You want to show me that you don't like the choice of this house for our vacation by going on a hunger strike? Well, I'll accept the challenge. But just remember, when I was your age, I really did suffer from hunger. We'll see who gets through this. But just remember, I've got more practice than you. I'll see you tomorrow.
So let me get this straight. Your son pisses all over the food, and instead of asking him why, you immediately just assume that it's due to some hunger strike, and instead of punishing him, you join in on the hunger strike? What the fuck?
The absurd dialogue is obviously due to Claudio changing the events in the dining room on the day of shooting, which means the scene in the bedroom had to be rewritten too. Another clue that it was rewritten on the day is the fact that the following morning, the dad immediately asks what's for breakfast.
Breakfast ready, dear.
As if the following night never happened, and even offers to go to the shop to get more food.
What about that hunger strike you were so adamant about?
The can't piss on hospitality line is one of the most quoted lines of the movie, with poor old John Hardy having to recite it everywhere he goes.
And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. You can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. You can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. You can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it.
It gets old after saying the piss on hospitality scene, over and over again.
I would just like to say that the clips you just saw, and I used some throughout the episode, are from the documentary Best Worst Movie, made by the actor who played Joshua, and is a must-see for any Troll 2 fan.
It centres on John Hardy and how he's pretty much the best fucking human being on the planet, and the cult phenomenon that Troll 2 has become in recent years.
I'll add a link in the description below. Rating. Troll 2's weirdness is what makes it such a memorable film, and should be watched by everyone at least once in their lives. I judge shit movies based on 5 categories. Number 1, laughability. Troll 2 is filled with plot points and dialogue that will no doubt make you laugh throughout. Number 2, rewatchability. You could watch Troll 2 over and over again for 100 years and it would never get old. Number 3, pace. Troll 2 never gets boring as every scene is a classic. The only time it slows down is when it takes Credence 6 hours to say one sentence. Number 4, production value. Troll 2 ain't no Birdemic, as a lot of the technical aspects are pretty sound. And number 5, intention. I'm not sure what to think with this film. I think they were trying to make a unique horror film, but then when Joe D'Amato comes into the picture and cuts costs, it kind of makes you think that maybe this film was just made to make money. All in all, I give Troll 2 -4 stars, and it is a must-see for any bad movie buff. So that's it. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Shit Flick Critic. I may or may not make another one of these in the next couple months because I'm actually going to Vancouver, hopefully. I'm still waiting for all my visas to be approved, but if they do get approved, I'll probably go to Vancouver, and I'll wait till I get settled in before I make another one. I would just like to say thank you so much to all my subscribers, to everyone that's commented and viewed, and it's just getting really crazy. I mean, when I made my first episode, I really wasn't expecting a lot. I just kind of did it to prove to myself that I could. But now, you know, the room is almost on 10,000 views, which is crazy. So thank you again to everyone. I'm really happy. I'm glad that you're all enjoying these as much as I enjoy making them. So thanks a lot. So yeah, okay, well now I'll put my videos up. I reckon I can do 3 this time, so there'll be one there, one over here, and another one there. So see you later.